countries across the region, indeed across the world, have been looking on very nervously indeed, actually. Today, we haven't seen any pictures of this yet, but according to President Putin yesterday, actually Kim Jong-un had a full day of scheduled activities today as well. He apparently was going to visit a factory that makes aviation equipment for both commercial and military use. He was then going to go further south to the port city of Vladivostok, where he was going to observe a military program, including a demo of the Pacific Fleet, the Russian Pacific Fleet there. He was then going to go to a university where he was going to be involved with some projects relating to marine biology. So a really full program. And yesterday, of course, he had access to that Cosmodrome, that big space base. He had a state dinner with Putin that lasted apparently nearly 5 hours, really pretty extended and pretty detailed. So I think it's fair to say that the sort of red carpet has been well and truly rolled out for him. Just worth saying, we haven't actually seen any pictures of Kim Jong-un's supposed activities today, and it's not clear at the moment whether that's because they didn't happen or whether because just they chose not to film them and release the footage. A little uncertainty over that, but look, nonetheless, Russia does not very regularly open the doors to military sites, things like space bases or aviation factories. The fact that it has and has so warmly, I think speaks volumes. I think the metaphor, the symbolism is absolutely that these two had technological and military things to discuss. We know coming into this that Putin wanted arms to help him sustain his war in Ukraine. Kim Jong-un, in return, he wants technical know-how. He has big ambitions. He wants to launch spy satellites and nuclear-capable submarines and so on and so forth. He also desperately needs food aid to feed his people, who are many of whom starving under his sort of dire state of his economy. Look, we don't know whether any deals were reached. It is likely that we will never know, and even if we do, it's very unlikely we'll ever know the detail. But look, nonetheless, I think, as I said, the symbolism says it all. In terms of other countries around the world, look, it's not just the West who look on nervously here. Of course, nobody wants to see the war in Ukraine extended. But here in this region, in Asia, countries like South Korea and Japan, very concerned indeed. They know that they would be on the front line of any more confident, empowered North Korea. Even China, where I am, which is an ally of North Korea, but China very much sees Korea as a pretty unpredictable, unreliable partner, and it doesn't particularly want to see it nuclear capable. Once upon a time, Putin might also have been wary of a nuclear capable North Korea, but I think what this visit has really said is that for him, now any concern comes second to his ultimate ambition, which is victory in Ukraine.
Helena, as ever, thank you so much. You're watching Sky News today. Lots more still to come. After this short break, we're going to be talking to Ian King about Arm Holdings. That's, of course, the British-based, Cambridge-based tech company that gets its Wall Street debut today with its big IPO. We'll also be talking about the impact of the cost of living crisis on students. We report on the universities forced to open food banks and the allegations against Kanye West. Sky News speaks to a former employee who's suing the rapper over unsafe working conditions. That and very much more still to come here on Sky News Today.
I'm Greg Milam and I'm Sky's Chief North of England correspondent. We aim to be the best and most trusted place for news.
Welcome back. The UK-based chip designer Arm Holdings has secured a £43.5 billion valuation ahead of returning to the stock market later today. Shares in the firm, which is widely considered one of the UK's biggest innovation success stories for decades, will be part of what is the biggest IPO on Wall Street this year. Well, our business presenter Ian King joins us now live from the city. And Ian, so it's really interesting, this IPO, for lots of reasons. But just first of all, remind us exactly what Arm Holdings does.
It's a chip designer, Wilf, not a manufacturer. It is a designer, and its chips designs have become pretty ubiquitous. They're reckoned to be used in something like 99% of the world's mobile phones. So everyone with a mobile phone will have a piece of this technology embedded in their phone, and they take a margin on every single chip that's manufactured containing their technology. As you say, very, very successful story. Founded in Cambridge in 1990, it was for many years the darling of the stock market. Certainly they're the biggest tech stock in London, but it was taken over in 2016 by SoftBank, which is a big Japanese investor that specialises in tech investments.
Note, Ian, of course, today is the day it lists publicly on Wall Street, but there's been much debate over the last year and confirmed over the last couple of months about where it would have its initial public offering, whether it would be listing on the London Stock Exchange or on the New York Stock Exchange or the NASDAQ in New York. Obviously, it chose the US. That's a blow to London, but perhaps it's not as big a blow as what you just alluded to before that it's been in foreign ownership hands actually for quite a while already.
Yes, that's absolutely right. I mean, SoftBank swooped to buy it in 2016. They paid £25 billion for the business, and the deal was waved through at the time by the UK government. Theresa May had just become Prime Minister. The takeover bid came months after the UK voted to leave the EU, and Theresa May's administration was very, very keen to show that the UK remained open for business to the world, and the takeover of Arm was seen as part and parcel of that. But ever since, as you say, there's been a debate really over whether this business was adequately valued by British shareholders who tend to be a bit sniffy over tech stocks compared with their US counterparts, who tend to be more willing to sort of take a long-term risk and pay a higher earnings multiple for these kind of stocks. And that is probably why SoftBank chose, when it decided to list shares in Arm Holdings, it went for the US rather than the UK. It knew it would get a better valuation there. But it's really sparked a good deal of soul searching on this side of the Atlantic as to why the UK can't really attract and retain these kind of tech companies on its public markets. It's led, as I say, to a lot of soul searching.
Albeit more important than who owns the company and where you're publicly listed is where you're headquartered when it comes to what that means for the domestic economy, for jobs and for tax take. And of course, it is still headquartered here in the UK and in Cambridge. It's interesting what you say there about the valuations, because even if this is sort of a double your money return for SoftBank as they sell it sort of 8 years after they bought it, it's actually quite a poor return for a chip company over that time period. If you compare it to the likes of Nvidia, which is now worth more than $1 trillion, this is going to be worth about 50 billion. That's all in dollar terms. Anyway, pivoting a little bit, Ian, whilst we've got you focused on the ECB today as well.
Yes, that's right. The European Central Bank will make an interest rate decision just lunchtime our time today, 12:45. The expectation is that they're going to raise their main policy rate from 3.75% to 4%. That would take Eurozone interest rates to their highest ever level since the creation of the euro back in 1999. There have been a lot of speculation the ECB might pause on rate tightening. This would be the 10th consecutive rate rise from the ECB. There have been, as I say, speculation that they might pause, but I think their hand's probably been forced by the August inflation number. Inflation in the Eurozone in August came in at 5.3%. That's more than twice the ECB's target rate of 2%. So really the feeling is they have very little choice but to rise again. But we'll find out at lunchtime.
Ian, great stuff. Thank you so much for that. And we look forward to Business Live with Ian at 11:30. Now, a quick check on the weather. You're watching Sky News Today. Lots more still to come. Is AI an existential threat? Well, we'll be discussing that later in the show. But in fact, we're not going to take a break. We're going to go to the urgent question in the House of Commons on Libya.
Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I'm very grateful to the honourable member for raising this issue. It's a source of concern, I know, across the House, and it's important that we discuss that today. So I'm extremely grateful to her for raising it. The situation is very concerning, and I send sincere condolences on behalf of the government to the people of Libya, and I'm sure that's true for everybody across the House. The Eastern Administration officials on Wednesday reported the death toll had risen to at least 5,300, and this morning newspaper reports suggest Derna's mayor has said that the number could reach 20,000. Sunday, the 10th of September, Storm Daniel hit Libya after causing floods and chaos in Bulgaria and Greece and Turkey, and then on early Monday morning, 2 dams burst, and we know that caused major flooding, submerging parts of the city and causing real concerns, wiping out entire neighbourhoods. And the situation in terms of helping to recover the situation has been made worse by lack of road access, by the fact that communication channels are down, and we stand ready to help as best we can. The UK has committed to supporting Libya following these devastating floods, and yesterday the Foreign Secretary announced an initial package worth up to £1 million to provide life-saving assistance to meet the immediate needs of those most affected by the floods. The UN Central Emergency Response Fund, to which the UK is the third largest donor, has announced it will deliver $10 million support to Libya. We're also working with trusted partners on the ground to identify the most urgent basic needs, including on shelter, healthcare, sanitation, and we stand ready to provide further support. The UK remains in close contact with Libyan authorities across the country to help respond to this tragic crisis, and Lord Ahmed, Minister for Middle East and North Africa, has reiterated the UK's commitment to Libya in a call with the chair of Libya's Presidential Council. UN officials have said that Western and Eastern governments are working together, communicating on this. That will be important, and we stand ready to help the people of Libya at these very challenging times.
I'm grateful, Mr. Speaker. The horror of the catastrophic floods in Libya is hard to imagine. Loved ones swept away within hand's reach, drowning in mud and crushed under rubble. The city of Derna has been utterly devastated, and estimates now range, as the Minister has said, above 20,000 lives lost. The grief and the worry of those with no knowledge of the fate of their loved ones must be simply unbearable. Our thoughts are with them and with all the people of Libya. Assistance, as the Minister has said, has struggled to reach the city, and the scale of urgency of need is immense. Reportedly, many areas have received no help, no hope of rescue for anyone left alive, trapped under mud and rubble. There's obviously a terrible threat from disease, with authorities lacking enough body bags to cope with the scale of death. So I'd like to ask the Minister, in his estimation, how many are now lacking shelter, clean water and medical care? And I know that the government is supporting the UN Central Emergency Response Fund, but can the Minister tell us if he's confident that this will support coordinated efforts and reach those who are truly in dire need? And surely the scale of this disaster is linked to Libya's many years of conflict and chaos, political paralysis, diplomatic failure and neglect. We know climate heating is making extreme weather like Storm Daniel more intense. We must help to prevent these horrors where we can, build resilience to a changing climate and support Libya on the path to stability and peace. But this will take strategic action on diplomacy, security and development, and we must make sure the humanitarian response desperately needed right now is delivered.
As usual, I think the honourable member has made important points with characteristic compassion and passion. I just want to reiterate that we share those sentiments and are working very hard to address the situation. Just to update the House, the UN is currently finalising its needs assessment and we hope to see that this afternoon.
That was David Raleigh, the Foreign Office Minister, answering an urgent question from a shadow Foreign Office Minister, Lynn Brown, on the flooding in Libya and specifically the government's response to it. The government minister there saying that the government sends their deepest sincere condolences to the people of Libya and that the UK is committed to.
In Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Starr, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Vedasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Pram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Pram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Check me out. He tells me my energy is making him tired.
Yes!
How do you get the energy to do that?
I've been told that I have a lot of energy, but my goodness, I think today I have met my match, people. I have met my match, Miss Suzanne. Wow, amazing.
One of the things that's the start of digging the hole of darkness. what did that? Myself and the world will adjust. And 2019,
forget the proverbial boardroom. Join me, Simone Frazier, on The CEO, the program that gives you the driving seat over your life. Every Tuesday, 8 p.m. only on Starr Radio.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour show is your best source into the property industry.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
The best radio show.
Hi there, this is CJ Buckman, your life coach. And whenever I'm in London, I listen to Starr Radio UK right here. But guess what? You can listen to wherever you are.
Body is your man. Bekutu, show them you got the cocoa set. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Harry Song, aka Mr. Songs. This is the Kingmaker Baba for the girls. We're here. This is Starr Radio. Don't go nowhere. UK, London. We they call them London for home. For here, we they call them London. And that's how you know. Just have fun and stay blessed.
The best radio show.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
All around the world. In your car.
At work.
At home.
On your smartphone.
This is Starr Radio UK. Are you ready to turn it up?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, your heart is aching. Smile even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you get by. If you smile through your fear and sorrow, smile and maybe tomorrow you find that life is still worthwhile if you just smile. Hey, this is Archie and you are listening to Starr Radio UK and The Morning Show.
This is Starr Radio. This is UK. Starr Radio UK. This is Starr Radio UK.
Welcome.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
Enlighten your day with Starr Radio.
You make a doubt they fade, Jesus, and that's what makes you great.
Okay, let me say massive good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you wherever you might be on planet Earth, and those of you on other planets as well. We want to salute each and every one of you and say welcome to the Starr Radio UK Thursday edition of the morning show.
And for
Today is the 14th day of September, the year 2023. We are almost halfway through, and it is 10:45 from the hearts of London. You will never change. We did our best to bring you what is happening in Libya, some of the updates from here in the UK with Parliament's presentation and what plans they have for them. And therefore, that brought about the late start of the program. However, wherever you might be, do me a massive favor, share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones and invite them to like our pages. And let's take this journey. And I'm saying good morning to my team this morning, Mr. Olayomi, Koiki, my able producer, Mr. Francis Guy. Starr Radio UK. Bishop Adeshina, good morning. Anthony Adedeji, good morning. Pastor Mo, good morning. Pastor Emmanuel Chile, good morning. All the men of God on this platform, I salute each and every one of you and I say welcome. Love for you runs deep. Aziz, good morning to you. Olakunle, good morning. You make my heart beat. You make a dog afraid. Rachel, good morning to you as well. And let me put it this way, all protocol observed wherever you all are. Share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones and invite them to like our pages. Well, if you don't know, now you know. I remain yours sincerely, the one and only.
This is the morning show with Archie.
Well, let's crack on.
Jesus, and that's what makes you.
So I'm bringing you the quote for the day. The weather forecast will follow suit. Then the travel update will continue from thence. We'll look at some of the stories making the rounds across the globe. That is known as Global Trotting. Then after that, at 11 o'clock, we have Olayomi Koiki who will be coming or joining in to bring you updates from Nigeria. Of course, yesterday evening, we had the Niger Voices, where we looked at the G20 UAE visit, and then the moves by the labor force, the NLC, and its actions, and a lot more coming from the Yoruba Nation group as well. So we'll be giving you a sneak view of what was discussed for those of you who missed out on that. But I can tell you shortly, if you go to the Starr Radio UK Facebook or YouTube or whichever platform, Twitter or they call it X now, you know, you can go back to listen to it, but he'll bring you a sneak view of it as a teaser. Alright, and then after that, exactly at 12 o'clock, the lines are open for you to add your voice to the discussions, and then at 12:30, the curtains are brought down for the end of the program. So, that's what's going to happen this morning. Wherever you are, don't touch the dial. Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. So let's kick this way. When you excuse yourself from the pain and discomfort, you indirectly excuse yourself from the benefits of the process. So, well, every process, every way to success comes with some pain and some discomfort. Are you ready to sacrifice for that? That's the big question. Starr Radio UK. And that's what makes you great. Well, let's move on to some other stories making the rounds. My apologies, that pertains to the weather. When it comes to the weather this morning here in the UK, specifically in London and the southeastern part of the UK, this is what we're going to be seeing. This afternoon we'll see patches of cloud mixed with sunny spells, but it will be remaining largely dry. It will be mild too. This evening we'll see a mix of late sunny spells and patchy cloud, but it will turn progressively clear overnight. It will be clear throughout by dawn. The temperature is going to be 23 degrees, the low is going to be 13 degrees. UV level is going to be moderate and pollution low. Sunset 19:18 and sunrise for tomorrow morning 06:33 hours. That brings us to the end of the weather forecast. It's Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Okay, let's go straight to the travels and let me tell you what is happening on your travels, because we are pressed with time. We need to be bringing you what is happening across the globe now, but as I did say, so just bear with me. Jesus, this is Starr Radio UK. Okay, so on your travel this morning, those of you traveling on the major roads in London, 821, 831, 684, 840 Central London Red routes have all got serious delays. So if you can, you know what? to get yourself out of there and to avoid that stretch, please do so. Now on the underground this morning, I can tell you shortly, good service throughout DLR, landing, traveling, landing overground, good service there. The river bars as well is running a good service also. The landing cable car, good service there. My, oh my, oh my. That brings us straight to the final segment of the travel update. That's the National Rail. So if you're traveling via the National Rail this morning, these are the lines that you need to check out for. Avanti West Coast, Cross Country, East Midlands Railway, Northern Rail have all got minor delays. The other side, all the others are running a very, very, very good service. And that brings us to the end of the travel update. And let me say it this way, as I normally would do. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you, wherever you might be on planet Earth. Enjoy your commute for today. But you know what? Continue to keep those eyes on the road.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour Show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour Show is your best source into the property industry.
Welcome back to the program Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, bringing the time now to 8 minutes to the top of the hour. Let's go now. Global trotted. Don't you worry, Yomi is going to be posting all the stories that we're going to be looking at from Nigeria. But let me bring you a slim view of that. Reps reply NLC deny receiving 100 million naira palliatives each from government. Well, I remember before they went on the break and they were talking about some palliatives that were going to be given to them. Well, they are saying that, well, they are denying that the House of Reps are saying that they have not received any 100 million naira each for palliatives. So what is the actual, what amount or what figure was given to them? They should let us know. Now Buhari goes to farm 4 days a week. Garba Shehu is saying. Now yesterday I was asking of where the former president is and what his activities has been, and well, this is one of it. And track fans, Tinubu directs CBN to hold quarterly meeting with foreign airlines so that they will know how to get their funds to them, which will be one of the areas that was discussed when he went to the UAE because of the Emirates Airlines. Yeah. Okay, a total blackout as Nigeria power grid collapses. My goodness, total blackout. Goosh. Now, history of NUPRC picks 42 winners for its gas flare commercialization bid round. And in Kogi Guba, court bars Bello others from arresting Abejedi. And then federal government moves NIMC to Ministry of Interior. Lots more going to be coming your way from there. ASU, parent protests as more varsities hike fees. Now, this is a situation people don't have the means. Government has tightened everything and people are actually struggling. So is it going to be that those who have are the only ones who will be able to finance their children or their young ones to go to university, and therefore those who don't, the don't have or the poor in society will not see their children excelling when it comes to the educational sector? My goodness. Well, federal government orders CBN to resolve imbroglio over foreign airlines trapped funds. As I've said, that more going to be coming your way. Yomi will bringing you all that you need to know when it comes to it. Okay, now moving on straight to other African countries as well. Cape Town clamps down illegal electricity connection. Okay, interesting. And UN envoy for Sudan resigns once that the conflict shows no sign of abating. He thinks that, look, I've had enough of all this nonsense. They are not hearing, they are not, whatever they want to do, that's what they continue to do. Well, all you need to know about the Morocco earthquake and how you can help. Well, that's one of the stories I'm going to be bringing your way. Maybe you can help them. If you can, why not? Madagascar opposition condemns institutional coup. It's one of the stories there. I'm going to bring you more details about that. Now, opposition parties in Madagascar have denounced what they say is an institutional coup after the Prime Minister, an ally of President André Rajoelina, was put in charge of the nation in the run-up to a presidential election. In a letter to the electoral authorities received on Tuesday, 10th of the 13 presidential 10 of the 13 presidential candidates said court rulings that handed the reins of the Indian Ocean island to Christian Starr were dictated by Rogelina and his entourage to favor the president in November's election. So they're asking, why should he be the one? Why didn't they appoint the Chief Justice to be the one at the helm of it, so that you guys all go out and conduct your elections or go and compete amongst yourself. More going to be coming your way from there. And one other, so the Pope Francis pray for Morocco and Libya. I was asking my producer, Mr. Francis Gaid, I said, Francis, do you think that maybe there's Armageddon happening in the northern African countries there? Well, we cannot say that because, we've seen the fires and we've seen the floodings that's taking place in Europe over this summertime. And what is happening in the U.S.? Remember what happened in Hawaii, where whole cities were wiped or washed off. Well, those are some of the things that are happening. But it's all coming away from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Kandapa would have violated the laws by disclosing anything to the committee, Adam Bonai is saying. What were they talking about there? Kandapa refuses to give details of the National Investigation Bureau's investigations into the leak tape saga that seems to be going on. But for the chairman of the committee to come out to say, well, the tapes were doctored, I think he doesn't understand what doctrine actually means. So he should come again. If it was edited and somebody took his portion of whatever thing out of there, fine. But if it was doctored, that means that they took some bits out and put it all together so that it misrepresent what the person was saying. But that was not what happened there. So he should come again. We want to know the truth, and the truth only can set us free. Okay, now moving on to other stories making the rounds in other parts of the world as well. Well, rogue Russian pilot tried to shoot down RAF jet is a story that's making the round. The pilot fired 2 missiles. The first miss rather than malfunction, as was claimed at the time. Well, but we'll be telling you more about all that in a moment. Colombian begged for help but died in UK detention center. Frank Ospina was awaiting deportation. His family say he was willing to leave, but they didn't allow him and he died. Okay, relatives of Sarah Sheriff has been arrested over her death. The father, stepmother and uncle of Sarah Sheriff, 10 are arrested after returning to UK from Pakistan last night. There are some of the stories making the rounds there as well. And Kim and Putin discussed possible military cooperation. Vladimir Putin met Kim Jong-un in a highly scrutinized visit, suspected to yield an arms deal. Arms deal for who, from where? Okay, a man has been arrested after touching Spanish TV reporter Isa Balado was interrupted during a live broadcast when a man appeared to touch her backside. Oh my goodness. Boy, oh boy. Overwhelming consensus on AI regulation. That's what Musk is saying. Musk, when it is fight between himself and what they call him, the Facebook Meta was going to be taking place. They said they were going to do some fight, whether it's kickboxing or boxing, whichever they want to. At times when you have money, you don't know what to do with your money. You do all sorts, right? Well. Listen to Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. But Keir Starmer have vowed to put trafficking on par with terrorism. The Labour leader seeks a new security deal with Europe as he accuses the government of failing on small boats. Of course, if you look at what the Prime Minister has been saying, my five whatever that you have to judge me with, one of the topmost ones was stop the boat. But I think it's not stop the boat, it's rather encourage the boat to people crossing that way to excel. Now, cash payment rise for first time in 10 years. Payments made with notes and coins rose as the cost of living started to bite, but debit card use was higher. Okay, so this is all coming away from Starr Radio. The Met Police has paid out over Sarah Everard's regional arrest. Two women, Patsy Stevenson and Danaya Al-Obeid, settled their legal claim with the London Fort. They should tell us how much they paid them. Yes, freedom of information. Yes. Listen to Star Radio UK. Let's enjoy this too, and we will have Mr. Olayomi Koiki joining in. So stay tuned and don't you go away. There is still hope for you. It doesn't matter what the situation or the challenge that you are going through. Broken Pencils, Still Right by Kofi Boham. Enjoy it and I'll be with you.
Alright. This is a letter to the broken. See you fighting all the demons in your life that have wreaked heavy carnage. Don't be dismayed. I know you think that your dreams.
This is Starr Radio.
Yeah, looks like your problems don't seem to go nowhere. Just take a deep breath. People talk about you, it's got you feeling down and really stressed. Don't tell me you don't know the trouble that I've been going through. You self don't know, see, the same thing they go through, me self, how they go through too. Who told you the lie? When you fall, it's the end of your life. I heard a whisper from above, I pray it opens up your eyes. Broken pencil still right, so keep on writing. And fallen soldiers still rise, so keep on fighting. One day you'll lift up your eyes to the skies and your light will be shining. One day you will win, one day you will win. Broken pencil still right, so keep on writing. And fallen soldiers still rise, so keep on fighting. One day you'll lift up your eyes to the skies and your light will be shining. One day you will win, yeah. One day you will win. Now snap on it. News around this life is not fair. Greed is all we see. You gave your heart to the wrong folk, they broke it, and now you put it on free. Fake life on Instagram and Snapchat got you feeling ungrateful. My sister, if you could see the real them, you know you are being a great fool. You wrote a paper and failed. Sit down and write it again. One day you will kill him. He broke your heart and you cried. Give love another try. True love will heal him. I'm not trying to look down on your problems. No. I know say you don't know how to sabi solve them. Allow me to introduce you to someone I know. He's a specialist in handling cases and issues we don't blow. If you fell, just rise. If you fell, just rise. If you fell, just rise. Wipe the tears from your eyes. If you fell, just rise. If you fell, just rise. Wipe the tears from your eyes. If you fell, just rise. If you fell, just rise. Wipe the tears from your eyes. If you fell, just rise. If you fell, just rise.
best radio show.
All around the world.
One day you'll win. The paper.
In your car.
At work.
At home.
On your smartphone.
This is Star Radio UK.
International scholarship is coming.
Are you ready to turn it up?
Scholarship, yes, it's coming. You come out of your own house. One day you shall go ride your own car. One day you win. One day you win. Your album go hit. Your ministry.
Well, all that the songwriter is trying to do this morning is to encourage you that don't give up. Even broken pencil can still write. And so wherever you are listening to us from, it is Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Wrote the paper and failed. Sit down and write it again. One day you will kill her.
And we're going to be having the one and only Mr. Olayomi Koiki from our North London studios, where he is to bring you all that you gotta know when it comes to the news. Yes, here. Those of you in the diaspora, that way, but we have all those of you who also listen to us in Nigeria or from Nigeria as well.
Allow me to introduce you to someone else.
But like I said earlier on,
he's a specialist in
remember one thing for sure: one day you will win. So keep on writing. Don't give up.
If you fail, just rise.
By the Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, and it's my singular honor to once again welcome my colleague and co-presenter, Mr. Olayomi Koiki, this morning on the morning show. And I say, Yomi, good morning to you.
Well, a very good morning to you, Mr. Archie. Good morning to our listeners and viewers from around the globe. And welcome once again, like you said, to the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. And it's good to be with you this morning. And I say good morning to all that have joined us on the sister broadcast as well. And I say good morning as we get ready for the day.
Yes. How are you? How is the family? How was your night?
Well, like you always say, the family will be doing very well when we are doing very well because... health-wise, I was listening to you when you were asking our producer, regarding the whether there's Armageddon that is happening, because when you look at the current state of situation, in some of those countries, it's quite a little bit worrying. More than almost 20,000 people have died as we speak right now in Libya. And we continue to monitor the situation as well in Morocco. But it seems that not because we have disaster in the other side of Africa, but there is so much poverty that can link to the same situation as disaster, in terms of flooding. I mean, the numbers keep growing, and each time I look at, the opportunity that we have in, for those of us living in the other side of the globe, and comparing that to those at home, you just have to be grateful that you are just one out of so many that have left that offshore of the continent that have almost everything from Ghana, coast, to Nigeria, to DRC Congo, to South Africa, to Mali, to Ethiopia, to Niger, that has a huge amount of uranium, but unfortunately they don't have electricity. So the family are doing very well, and we always try to remind them that as much as some of them here can a little bit cheeky, that there's other part of the globe where millions and millions of people will not be cheeky. They will just have that first meal of the day without no question.
Yeah, it's so true. And that's why I said that once you have life, you have to be thankful to God, especially those of us here. Yeah. Listen to Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. With the time now 10 minutes past the top of the hour. And straight we'll go to Yomi, because yesterday the Niger Voices took place once again. For those of you who miss it, it comes your way every Wednesday evening, 6 p.m. Okay, or 18 hours. Yes, UK time. Well, it did take place once again, and it was a smasher of a program. Anthony Adedeji, massive good morning to you, and Tom Sam, and lots of hearts to you as well there. But for the sake of those who miss out on the program, Yomi just going to give you a sneak view of what took place. If you want more, go to the YouTube or the Facebook or all the platform that we broadcasted on, and go back and re-listen to the whole piece. Over to you, Yomi.
Yesterday was a very fantastic outing again on the Niger Voices, like you said, on the Star Radio UK network, and for many of us that follow this program, for almost 5 years now that we've been running, Niger Voices, you will be able to see that is a program that not just enlighten Nigerians, but also now is asking a lot of questions pertaining to not just who we are. What will be, the benefit. The point of the conversation yesterday, came up from the president's visit to United Arab Emirates, the aftermath of the G20. What are the expectations, for Nigerians, as many Nigerians, want the best when it comes to the economy and the security. So, it seems that the president, is trying to put as much of things in place. How soon those things will be able to materialize? That is the question. We also went back to review why many Nigerians that are still in the captivity of the dean of the what we can call the terrorist. We have about 9 Nigerian students that have completed a university. Many people might not know what is the NYSC. Is a program that was established by the military in 1973, May 22nd precisely. It's called the National Youth Service Corps. But as we speak to you right now, terrorists were able to kidnap, some of those that were traveling, posted to Sokoto State. And as we speak, since August the 17th, they've not been returned back home. And that literally means that the question then is, how do we resolve if the country is not safe and then you're moving people from one part of the state to another state that is not safe? Is the NYS still, if we need to continue it, still viable in terms of posting? The reason for posting people to different states is so that they can feel the Nigerianness in us. But it seems that many Nigerians are now asking questions. 13 million have been paid by these individuals, but yet they've not been released. So we talked about that as well. We also talked about the self-determination campaign. I've listened to some of the APC supporters in the United States of America from a report that got to me this morning that they would not be condoling any kind of rally against the president that will be visiting America for the UN General Assembly later on this month. The question is, do they have the right to say people cannot protest against their president? We've seen protests here in London against the Chinese government. We know that the Saudi Arabia prince will be arriving in London sometime probably before the end of this year. Remember that a journalist, Jamal Khashoggi, was killed, not just killed, was murdered at the Saudi Arabia embassy in 2018. That literally strained the relationship not just between the Saudi and the UK, but among other countries around the world as well. There's been a lot of protests, but it seems that those supporters of the president are warning those that will be protesting against the president to probably think otherwise. But I'm not sure they realize that we are no longer in Nigeria. We are outside the country, and there will be protests against the president regardless of those that fall in love with him. These were part of the discussion yesterday. It was another fantastic outing on the Niger Voices, and if you've missed that, you can still watch that later on the social media on the Star Radio UK network. I'll come back again to you, Mr. Archie, in the studio.
Yes, listeners, so that is what you missed out if you did on the Niger Voices. But you know what, as Yomi said, make sure you go back to listen to it all. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, bringing the time now to exactly 11:15. Now let's go to some substantive issues that is being looked at. But before then, now Yomi, so those APC supporters who are saying that they will not, agree or back any demonstrations against the president when it comes to the UN. Now, I know definitely the group, whoever wants to do so, will go and seek permission from the police in the States, because you have to do that before you embark on a demonstration. And therefore, if they give them the right to go and demonstrate, what will these individuals who are saying they wouldn't allow or condone that, what would they do? What can they do?
Well, I think those saying that knows definitely that it is not going to be possible to stop a kind of protest. I know that, I'm aware that the Yoruba people will be coming out. They've been doing so ever since the former president Muhammadu Buhari was there, and there's always a permit from the New York police that is also granted to them. But it seems that we are not just talking about the Yoruba people that are coming out. It seems that those from the Obedient, the Peter Obi group, that are falling off from some of the APC are the ones that are probably referring to, because the communique that I read from the APC supporter in America is definitely not speaking to the Yoruba people, but is definitely probably also just telling Nigerians to not think otherwise. And I believe the reason some of them are doing so is because Tinubu is from the southwest, and it's like they don't want embarrassment of the president coming for the first time. Buhari was embarrassed that at some point Buhari also hired opposition against protester, and some of them were never Nigerians, but they were paid $50 to $100 to counter protest, and that was very hit as at the time former President Muhammadu Buhari was in office.
Well, listeners, it is Star Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. You have any take, feel free to do so. Post it on our broadcast, our platforms that we are broadcasting on, and I promise you one thing for sure, we're going to read out. And when the lines are open, you are allowed to do so. Call in, and then we'll allow you to make your voice heard as well. Shamsuddin, massive good morning to you. He says Yoruba Nation. God bless Yoruba Nation, and God bless you. God bless you, Shamsuddin, as well. Okay, now let's move on to some other stories making the rounds this morning in Nigeria. The total blackout as Nigeria power grid collapses. Now, when we talk about power, I mean, I don't get it. I don't get it, because I always say that back in the day when I visited Nigeria, back in the day, that was the 80s, when I went on a holiday, and then I was there for a month. A month. And you'll be enjoying because we will travel a lot, moving around. Went to Ibadan, went to Abeokuta, and in Lagos we lived in Oworosongi. That's where we resided for the time that we were there. And I was looking at everything, but one thing that was causing trouble was these power outages. And because you'll be there enjoying some broadcast or some, and then it just goes off, and then it will come back maybe after some time. But we thought that those things will be sorted out, because looking at the amount of oil and looking at the amount of gas that Nigeria is able to send out, I mean, these are all that people want. You have thermal plants and you need the gas to power it. Nigeria has got lots of it. Some are even being burnt out, and some are being piped to other countries. So why has Nigeria not been able to put its own house in order for a whole national grid to collapse? Can you just imagine what has happened if in this place people will be suing like no man's business? Yomi.
Well, electricity is one of the biggest threats, to many Nigerians, and the reason for that is that Nigerians have never enjoyed, 24 hours power supply, regardless of what part of the country that you are. I'm talking about 7 days a week, non-interruption of power supply. You're quite right. Another very, sad report coming again from Nigeria when it comes to that particular sector. We know that this new administration is trying to unbundle and probably allow states that are probably able to afford it, to generate their own electricity, and then probably sell that off. Many investors will be needed as well, but it seems also that there's a kind of a block between some part of the the transmission and but what we can confirm today is that there's now a total blackout as Nigerian power grid have eventually collapsed. Some of what is being used are very old, they are not up to date. There is a widespread blackout across the country following a total collapse of Nigeria's electricity grid at the early hours of this morning. It was gathered that the grid collapsed just before 12:40 a.m. this early, today, leading to a massive loss of supply to power distribution across the country. And that literally means that Nigerians that have businesses, hotels, retailers, fashion designer, hairdressers will probably have to suffer a little bit more, multiple sources in the power sector, just as electricity distribution companies have now confirmed the development as well. The Enugu Electricity Distribution Company PLC issued a notice that titled Notice of a Total System Collapse. In the notice, the EEDC wishes to inform the esteemed customer of this total collapse, which occurred at about 12:40 a.m. This has resulted in the loss of the supply currently being experienced across the network. Again, the transmission company of Nigeria station are out of supply, and we are unable to provide service to customers in Abia, Anambra, Ebonyi, Enugu, Imo State, and we are on standby awaiting detailed information of the collapse and the restoration of the supply from the National Control Center, which is in the southwest in Oshogbo. The notice was signed by the head of the Corporate Commission. The question then is, why have we not invested in this sector, to stop this menace? Well, those that should invest were not given the opportunity, and I believe during the time of the Jonathan, this sector was sold to certain people that were not even, capable to deal with the power transmission itself. Starr Radio UK, I'll come back again to you in the studio, Mr. Archie.
Well, listeners, updates from Nigeria with Mr. Olayomi Koiki in our North London studios. I'm actually here in the South studios, and it's 11:22. But interestingly, Yomi, now apart from what do you call it, having the generators or whatever, now we're looking at wind farms, that's what they call them, and then solar energy. Has Nigeria actually invested in any of these source of power, or is it, as some people have been saying, that there are some people behind the whole thing because they are benefiting from the sale of generators or plants? They reckon that they have to do everything possible to sabotage the national grid from working perfectly so that their business will not suffer. So what do we see there?
Well, Nigerians have invested, to the certain limit. Yes, you're quite right. We have, enough, Sunrail. It's a country that runs, almost very hot, even all the way down to the northern part of the country. Yes, many Nigerians are using it, but it's still quite an expensive when you talk about, the solar panel as well. But in the little grade that they are trying, they are using it. That is the substitute to the blackout, apart from those that have the means, to run the generators as well. Again, you're quite right. The generator business is a very big investment in Nigeria for those that are bringing them into the country to be sold off as well. But we hope that now that the new administration is planning to open up, state like Lagos State should be able to power, if not the 20 million living in Lagos State, they should be able to power 5 million, if the right investors are allowed to operate. The same thing can happen in Rivers State, and we hope the same thing can happen in some of the northern part of the country as well. We've not really invested when it comes to the wind turbine, but we hope that, again, these are areas that can be looked into. We have, a very good sea waterways, in the northern, in the southwest part of the country, but it will involve a lot of investors to come in. And the question is, when investors comes in, can the same policy that whoever is there right now, as we know that the President Tinubu is there right now, will there be a continuation? Investors are always, very skeptical when it comes to the continuation, and that is the reason why sometimes investors do not want to invest, so that they are not stuck with their investment.
Of course. Nobody's running a charity. They don't want to invest and then lose their monies, because it's people's money that they're going to be using. They want to make sure that at least they are making the profits that they're supposed to. But listeners, it's Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, we did talk about the NLC yesterday. You did talk about that one on the Niger Voices as well. But whilst people are saying that the palliatives and everything, we will come to the accusation and the defense by the House of Reps saying that 100,000 that was alleged to have been given to them, they are saying that they've not received. But so if they didn't give the 100,000 naira each as palliative, superlatives, they should tell us what was given to them. So not 100,000, how much was given to them, and then we can compare it to the bag of rice that have been given to 12 people or 12 families to share. We'll come to that. But ASU, I say that parents are protesting as more varsities hike fees. Now the issue is, now you don't even have the means to survive, to buy food to eat. Now talk less finding the money to pay for the hikes in the fees in universities. That means that it's only those who are going to have the chance of going to the universities. And what is going to happen there is that the poor are going to be impoverished. They are not going anywhere when it comes to education. So, Yomi, how is this protest going?
I was reading, a report this morning, in the UK, where some universities have decided now to support, their students. Manchester University is one of that university in UK, and the reason for that is that the cost of living is becoming very expensive as well in UK, and that literally means that the university have now come to support their students from them able to continue and further and concentrate on their education. You wonder why universities in Nigeria are not doing the same thing, where tuition fee have rising up so fast. I mean, I've been following the Lagos State University where students are protesting of hike in fee. The question then is, how do we solve all these problems? We want students, to be in education, but it seems that the former president cared less. About almost 8 months. There was total, disruption in the education sector in Nigeria, and I'm sure some students must probably, be delivering their newborn baby by the time they're resuming back as well. Because if you're idle and you're at home, you could also be, be used, which we know because of the poverty in the country. The report coming out again this morning says that ASU and the parent protest as more universities hike their fees. The lecturers have slammed as the tertiary institution across the country began a new session this week. The academic staff union of the universities, the parent, the student have started protest as more universities continue to increase their fees amid the worsening economy. ASU, as well as the Association of Parents and Students, warn about the likelihood of mass dropout of students following the fee. That literally means that if we have more students that are dropping out, it will be another problem as well. We hope that the new minister will buckle up and see how they can, come in between the universities and as well the students, so that we can get more students coming out. Literally yesterday, I was looking at the total number. According to the KPMG, we have students that are coming out. Not literally that going to the university guarantee you a job in the first place, but at least having that first education up to the university will probably in the future help you. If you're not able to be helped in Nigeria, you might end up traveling out of Nigeria. But as we said, during my discussion yesterday, 40 million, based on the statistics of 5 million new job entrants. That means we have about 40 million Nigerians since the former president Buhari left for 8 years that were never getting a new jobs as they were coming out of the university. But it seems now that we might not even have more Nigerian students coming out of the university because of the fee. But again, the Minister of Education, Professor Tai Mama, has called for the total overhauling of the Nigerian higher education system to put the university and the tertiary institution at par with the others around the globe.
Okay, listeners, it is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, the president has been. We've looked at a few things that is happening from across the neighborhood. That is ECOWAS region, the coup d'etats that have taken place. We're looking at what happened in the Central Africa, Gabon, and some few unrest there as well. We're talking about Madagascar this morning, where there's going to be an election in November, and the president has decided the prime minister should be the head of the country, the interim head, and so I mean, lots of things that is happening. But Tinubu is saying that the armed forces are ready to support Tinubu's aspiration. That's what the chief of defense staff is saying. Virtually, I bet they are being given lots of money and being catered for, like, properly, for them not to make any noise or say anything. But, well, if you are being taken care of, what about the extended family as well? But they're saying that's the assurance that the chief of defense staff is saying. Yomi, more from there.
As we, gonna be picking on that, let's first talk about, 6,000 slain soldiers and family members to get insurance claim. It seems that no fewer than 6,732 relatives of the personnel of the Nigerian Army would benefit from the group life insurance claim that has now been ordered by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The beneficiaries that are relatives of those killed while in service between 2011 and 2022. You can see how the whole system is completely chaos. I mean, those that died in service since 2011, and we've had at least 2 presidents from Jonathan to Buhari, and you'll be wondering why, this payment were never paid. Is Tinubu doing the right thing? Time will tell. The director of the Army of the Public Relations, Brigadier General Oyema, disclosed this during an interview yesterday. He actually said that about 6,700 will benefit from the group life insurance, and the money is a backlog, and the president had cleared the backlog. So it seems that whether the money was paid out during the time of Buhari and Jonathan, and there were military chiefs that were just using the money for something else, but it now seems that the new armed forces are ready to support President Bola Tinubu aspiration. This is coming from the Chief of Defense Staff. The defense chief also reiterated the resolve of the military to defend democracy and rid the nation of all forms of security challenges. The security challenges is very important. Like I said, 10 individuals are still in the captive of the terrorists since August 17. From what we are told, the family of these have managed to gather 13 million that have been paid, but they have not yet been released. So we hope that the security will be going after these rather than running after individual Nigerians. We're not saying that those that are committing crimes, but Nigerians that are going daily on their activities, harassed and also in the country. But it seems that Mr. Musa is giving the assurance while they were presenting a paper title, Nigeria Security and the Defense Policy, my leadership concept for the armed force of Nigeria. And all this was happening in Jaji in Kaduna.
Okay, listeners, these are some of the stories making the rounds there this morning. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Before I allow Yomi to bring you the rest of that story, there was one that flared up and I wanted to see. Yes, pertaining to the reply from the House of Representatives that they were giving 100,000 palliative each. The House of Representatives has debunked claims by the Nigerian Labour Congress that lawmakers have received the sum of 100 million naira from the federal government as palliatives to cushion the effects of the fuel subsidy removal. The NLC had, in a statement on Wednesday by its National Assistant Secretary Christopher Onyeka, alleged that members of the National Assembly were given the amount by the government. The labor union's allegation was part of its notice of an indefinite strike, said the federal government was wrong to share a bag of rice to dozens citizens while giving 100 million naira palliative to each member of National Assembly. So what have they been given, or have they not been given anything at all? Yomi, any information pertaining to that?
Well, it seems that the Senate President will not make the same mistake as saying that money has been sent to the account, and it was told that they were still live, the transmission was still rolling, and he actually said it
prayers.
Prayer.
Yeah, yo.
So 100 million have not been sent. I believe prayer has been sent to them. We are aware that representatives do get some kind of allocation to be used for development in their constituency, but it seems that the Labour, we did talk about this on Niger Voices yesterday, have made accusation or allegation, but it seems that the Nigerian National Assembly have come out to say the Nigerian Labour Congress is probably been given a different information. They've just been given prayers, but not 100 million.
Okay, let's see. They said it was prayers that have been given to them, not 100 million. So how are they doing? Well, listen, as a Starr Radio UK, the Thursday edition of the morning show, updates from Nigeria with Mr. Olayomi Koiki, and we'll leave the rest to him for him to bring you all the rest of the stories making the rounds and what is happening on the social media platform. Over to you, Yomi.
Well, as we still continue to review, the outcome of some of the engagement that this government have done so far. We know that their outing started from the BRICS, going to the ECOWAS. There's still issue, but that issue from the ECOWAS has not been resolved. So we do not know what the outcome is. At least no airline will be traveling to Niger temporarily from Nigeria because the border is closed between us and the military junta there. But it seems that the Minister of Aviation would like to continue from the federal government as directed that the Central Bank of Nigeria must now convene what we call a quarterly meetings with all the foreign airlines that are operating in Nigeria to address the biggest issue, their trap fund. Remember that they do not have anything more than Nigerians that wants to travel. We don't have our own airline. You buy the ticket, and at some point, they want to move those money out, and that is where the money gets stuck. And these are part of the arrangement that I believe has been resolved between Etihad and Emirates. These are not just the only two airlines that fly into the country, but the Minister of Aviation and the Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, has said this at the 7th ongoing aviation summit. The good thing about Nigeria is they love this summit, they love these conferences, they love these meetings. It is all good in presentation, in PowerPoint, but when it comes to implementation, it seems everything doesn't move as we want it to move. But the minister says that the proactive approach was necessary to find a lasting solution to this ongoing issue, and that the federal government was addressing the challenges associated with the foreign exchange supply, which resulted in the huge amount that we owe the foreign carriers. So we will continue to monitor that. I heard you talking about the former president still making his way to farm at least 4 days a week. This is coming from Garba Shehu. But the problem is, he's going to the farm, but his cow are not bringing extra babies to this world. So it seems that Buhari goes to cow, just like the economy of Nigeria will stand still. The Yoruba people will say is like a water that stands still, is not moving, and anything could be in that water. But Garba Shehu says that Buhari his principal has been spending his time away from office, attending to his farm in Daura in Katsina State. Shehu made this known in a statement today tied to the 100 days after Buhari. Shehu said Buhari chose to stay in Daura, to be far away from Abuja, where Tinubu is now the sheriff in town, in order not to distract the new APC administration, and in the hope that the distance will make it possible for him to have a good rest. That is coming from Garba Shehu. We take one or two more, as it's now 11:39. Well, again, we go back to electricity. Is this right, or is this just another waste of money? But many Nigerians are used to their government, from the state level to the federal to even the local government, wasting money, or probably not thinking of bringing a kind of innovation. But this kind of innovation takes us to Anambra State, where the governor, a former CBN governor that was able to become the new governor, is now using 900 million to fuel the generators to power the street light. Whether this is sensible, some might say, well, at least electricity is still on the highway and that reduced the crime rate as well. But is this something that can be run? I remember Lagos State was doing almost the same thing. They were fueling the generators, and allowing, the smokes to go different places. But the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria has now called on Governor Charles Soludo to pay members 900 million debts owed about 70 contractors for the diesel that they supplied to Anambra State government in 2022. This appeal was in a letter to Soludo that was signed by Chinedu and Emeka, the chairman and the secretary of IPMAN. This was yesterday. The letter title was Request for the Debt Payment of 900 million owed to our members for diesel supply and services rendered in respect of the street light. You just want to ask yourself, for how long do we need to continue in this analog manner? Again, Anambra has the money, and now that we have a new sheriff in town, maybe they should start thinking of having their own electricity rather than using the diesel as well. Let's come back again before we go to the social media, because Atiku is still not yet satisfied between the U.S. court that has now reserved the judgment in Atiku record case after the Chicago University confirmed that the female Bola Tinubu transcript, the female conclusion was raised by Bola Tinubu's lawyer, Christopher Kamekar, who tried to use it to demonstrate the frivolity of the case before the court. According to what we heard, a befuddled Judge Jeffrey Gilbert of the United States District for the Northern District of Illinois on Tuesday has now reserved the judgment on the application for Bola Tinubu's record after learning that the Nigerian President College transcript, which he used to gain admission to Chicago University in 1977, indicated that it belonged to a female person. The judge said he was prepared to rule on the matter when he scheduled a hearing for September 12, which was 2 days ago, but he needed additional time to digest his decision after learning that there was a transcript bearing Bola Tinubu's released by the Chicago State University under a separate court that carried the own agenda. So you can see that the issue in Chicago is still being dragged by the PDP presidential aspirant to be able maybe to find a conclusion whether in 1977 it is the same female that we are talking about right now in 2023, or maybe during that time it was just a female, but today it has become a male. You can tell that that case is not going anywhere yet until it is finally resolved by Atiku and Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We're gonna come back straight to the social media, where other activities and engagement continue online. Well, it's the X we call it now. So let's look at it as yesterday. Again, the government in exile of the Biafra have now directed that we shouldn't allow any on their own territory the federal government vehicles to travel in the plate number belonging to the state and the federal. Again, we hope that between those agitating, the government will continue to look into the issue of not just Nnamdi Kanu, but also of the self-determination of the Yorubas that are campaigning as well. As we said, this month the Yorubas will be going out again for the Yoruba Nation Diaspora Mega Rally, and in alliance with the world media, the Yoruba Nation, the self-determination, is inviting as many to attend the 78th the United Nations General Assembly that is coming up later on the 19th, where even many will be bringing up their banners, and their permit has been granted as well. Let's come out of that and see the death of our brother Mohbad. I picked that up as well on the Metro newspaper this morning. You can tell that this is a very very sad news coming from Nigeria with the young man. The Metro newspaper that I picked up, which shows that Nigeria is a very important country to many people, and as an artist, that has good followership, not just in Nigeria, in UK. The Metro paper put it as Afrobeat singer Mohbad death has left fans distracted. A lot of questions have been raised, to what could have led to the death. Could it be the former label that he was working with, or was it some other thing? But Afrobeat star Mohbad has died aged 27. We did talk about him during the Niger Voices yesterday. But like I always say to those at home, as many of what is happening in Nigeria, the international news are picking on them, but at the right time, they will also be talking about some other issues like those that are campaigning for the Yoruba nation. They are aware of it. They are aware of the Biafra. They've seen them so many times, on their peaceful rally in front of the number 10 Downing Street, just like any other protest that takes place across the world. But the problem is, some are not really ready to interfere in such decision right now. So again, on the X this morning, the CBN governor is trending as much as Soludo is trending, and I'm sure the reason why Naira Marley is trending, because the young man that died was signed by Naira Marley, from what we were told before, things did not work between them last year. So Naira Marley is trending this morning, and I'm sure underneath that post will be all kind of different, which we cannot confirm, but we can only go by that he died, and we can only pray for the family and the parents and friends that he left behind. For now, when we look at what actually is being said with the word Nigeria this morning on the X space, and you will tell that the Biafra is popping up, just as 99% oppressor is also saying on this app, I accuse the United Nations Aid Agency of arming and sponsoring terrorist activities in the northern part. You can see that Nigerians use that space, to get out their message, but sometimes not all the message there can be confirmed. Also, as much as Nigerians are a place where there's a lot of fun, we see if I can bring this up in just about a minute. Is a young man that have now set a new record, most step climb on a ladder while balancing a football on the head by Tonye Solomon. The engineer will bring the screen up in just about a few minutes, but for now, I'll come back again to you in the studio. It shows that in the midst of the pain, the crisis, Nigerians still find a way to survive.
Well, that shows the resilience of the black person. I would say that. So, in the midst of challenges, somewhere, somehow, you see people still smiling. Maybe the whole day they've not even had anything to eat. But yeah. So in the background of Mr. Olayomi Koiki is this young man who is carrying the football on his head and mounting the ladder. Is it the pylons that he's climbing?
Well, these are like, I don't know whether they have to disconnect this for him, but these are like the power transmission, or it could be something else. But you can see that the ball is quite balanced on his head all the way through, and he has now set up a new world record.
Wow. What award is he getting? New Guinness record, but what award is he getting for that?
Well, he will probably get what Nigerian love, which is the endorsement, and that could literally give him a new house, a brand new vehicle, and a good life, as against just as many Nigerians that would have loved the same thing. So a certificate definitely from the Guinness World Record, but the most important thing is it comes with some kind of endorsement and recognition, which is why we are talking about it as well this morning.
Who knows? Maybe the football has got a magnet in it that is attracting his hair.
Maybe Ronaldo will be talking to him very soon, or Messi. We don't know,
So that they can carry the ball on their head and run from one end to the other. Well, listeners, it's Starr Radio UK. We bring you everything that you need to know, as I do say, from archaeology to zoology, from Accra to Zanzibar. It's making the headlines. Why not? We'll make sure that we bring that your way. But that is what Yomi has brought you. But Yomi, I was asking the question about the former president in Daura, where they say he goes to his farm. You were saying that his cattle, you don't hear that the cattle have had babies there. But the question is, now he has security when he goes to the farms, right? Now there are others who have not been able to go to their farms because of insecurity. They go and we have all these kidnappings and all these insurgency coming in to actually stop them. Now, what are they doing about that so far, Yomi?
Well, you're quite right. The former president would have, just like any other former president around the world, they will still have the extra security, for their protections and their family. But you're quite right. Many Nigerians are struggling to get to their farm because of the insecurity in the country. And that is where I believe the new administration has a lot of work to do when it comes to, the security of the country. The country needs to be secure before we can talk about allowing businesses to strive. I mean, I would love to set up a farm somewhere in my community in Ijebu-Ode in Ogun State, but can I set this farm while I'm here and then have staff in there to be kidnapped, and then I have to go and find another 13 million that I don't have? I have to either then come on the social media and cry for help. So some of us have decided now it is not worth it to have such. I'd rather invest the little I have back here in UK while we see the situation back home. And those that even tried it, remember that we lost a brother, Mr. Benga Olabi. He had a farm, he had an hotel. These were in operation just by Buhari at the farm. But the only difference is he traveled all the way from America, from Maryland precisely, arrived in Nigeria. The same day he got to his business premises in Ogbomoso, guess what? He was kidnapped as well with another staff member. They asked for ransom. The family raised the money in millions of naira, gave the ransom. Both the young man that delivered the money was killed. Mr. Oluwagbenga was killed. The young girl was killed. She was there just because the university was closed. That was the reason why she got a job there. And the family said, rather than even bury the body there, pay whatever it cost them. The American government got involved. The body was removed from Nigeria, returned to America. That shows that the family are not likely to visit Nigeria anytime soon. This is not just the only one. Remember that Oloye Sunday Igboho came out because of an attack in another community in Okeogun, where another PhD holder, this has already been running a big farm, even giving out, the wasted materials on the farm to this cow that was being brought into the area so that they do not disturb his own business. It was not just producing, it was also preparing them for a proper packaging. It was again caught, dismembered. I went to Nigeria in 2021. I visited the same place just as Chief visited on January after giving 7 days ultimatum for those that were involved in this atrocity. But again, what happened? Chief Sunday Igboho's house was attacked by the order of President Muhammadu Buhari. 2 people lost their life. The bodies have not been returned back. And the question is, will the family of that same man that was killed, where the body was disemboweled as well, will they come to Nigeria? I don't think so. Let me take you back again to 2018. Before the many Nigerians started talking about the terrorist attack, a woman came to Nigeria with a family. They were kidnapped. Before they know, their clothes and the daughter's clothes have been torn all the way down. They became naked all the way through the forest. She decided to stay and accepted to be raped so that the husband is not raped and the daughter is not raped. They were there in the captivity for 6 days. She knew that those involved were Fulani because she schooled in the north. She could hear the sound very well. She was then asked that these people have, everything. They had more people being trained. How can they say they don't know where they are? This is from our own world. 8 million was paid. She said that it seems that the Yoruba are just, walking in a lane, even though some of them tend not to be accepting the fate of what is happening. This was in 2018. She went back to America. The daughter said, even when they die, they must never take their body back to Nigeria. The parent accepted that. So you can tell that this new administration of President Bola Tinubu needs to resolve the security to give assurance to those that believe in Nigeria to come back and invest. But those of us that do not believe anymore, we will either keep the money outside Nigeria, but we are still making our little effort because we still have to send money home from the diaspora remittance, which is to about $40 billion.
Well, listen, it's quite interesting and challenging there. Okoro Modeke Paul says Biafra is the answer. supports Biafran actualization for the freedom of all ethnic nationalities. Biafra is taking...
Abdullah said, Nigeria not happen to us. They are currently in Abu Dhabi, and they're waiting for the new outcome of the engagement between the president and the Abu Dhabi to be able to allow them to work. Some of them have been there for the past 2 years, and they are now stuck because there's no opportunity to go out and work, and coming back to Nigeria is not even easy because in Dubai you might be ending up paying a big fine for being an illegal immigrant. I heard you talking about the Labour Party talking about stopping the boat. You soon as wanted to stop the boat, but it seems more boat is arriving on the offshore of our part here in UK.
Well, listeners, we want to go on. Tell me more about it. We can go on and on and on and on. But before I let Yomi go, Yomi, yes, your final words.
Well, if you're still thinking about the property in UK, maybe tonight might be your own by looking into the program coming up at about almost 7:30 later on this evening on the Property Hour. But for now, I'll be back tomorrow morning for the update, and I'll be leaving you now with Archie for the rest of the program. This is Starr Radio UK, the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London, and a very good morning to all our listeners on the TikTok, Instagram, and those that have connected with us on the sister broadcast this morning.
All right, thank you very much, Yomi, and have a lovely day. We catch up later. Well, listeners, that has been Mr. Olayomi Koiki bringing you updates from Nigeria. Thank you very much for all your comments, those of you on other platforms as well. When the conversation goes on and there is so much to talk about, and the time we are pressed with time, we just have to let things just go. All right, so now let me bring you this music. It's from Mika Paris, and it says change is gonna come. And I'm one who advocates for hope that, listen, you don't give in, you don't give out. Yes, today you might be down, but tomorrow you might get up. But make an effort. Don't just decide that you want to just lie down because you are low. Get up, stand up for your right. But this one, Mika Paris says, change is gonna come. Enjoy it, and I'll be with you in a moment.
It's been a long time coming, but I know change gon' come. Oh yes it will. It's been too hard living, but I'm afraid to die. 'Cause I don't know what's up there beyond the sky. It's been a long time coming, but I know change gon' come. Oh yes it will. I go to the movie and I go downtown. Somebody keep telling me don't hang around. It's been a long time coming, but I know change gon' come. Oh yes it will.
Broadcasting worldwide online 24/7.
This is Starr Radio UK.
And I say, brother, help me please. But he winds up knocking me back down on my knees. Oh, I'm able to carry on. It's been a long time coming, but I know change gon' come. Oh yes it will.
Oh yes, change is gonna come. Change is gonna come, so you don't have to give up or give in. Well, you might be climbing a hill that seems unclimbable. Let me put it that way. And you might be in the low in the valley, anything that's the end of it. But hey, be rest assured of one thing for sure. With determination and with prayer, you are able to move on. So get up, get on, and do something for yourself, and I tell you that you'll be able to change your life.
It's been a long.
It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. A minute after 12 the time. The numbers to call 0208-133-2257 or 58 0208-133-2257 or 58 US, Canada or the Caribbean area. It is 0017183032737 0017183032737. Text or WhatsApp at 0753966174. Wherever you are, just don't touch the dial there as well. You can also tweet at us or X us at Starr Radio UK, okay, and then email us. Email address is info@starradiouk.com. Exactly at 6 o'clock, we'll be bringing you a repeat broadcast of what took place on the BB Means Business show. BB Means Business with BB Clement. Then after that, there will be the Property Hour show with KB Bossman. So make a date with him when he brings you all those programs as well. But this afternoon, there's going to be more music and less talk. But I know wherever you are, stay glued to yourself. Don't touch the dial. Oh, yeah. It is Starr Radio UK. A quick commercial break and then I will be with you.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it, you're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR, S for Starr, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Everywhere you go, Afrobeat reggae dancehall taking over. Everywhere you go, Afrobeat reggae dancehall taking over. Yo, what's up, people? This is a boy Raskin Bobo One. Tune in every day, every night at the Starr Radio UK with the big man them Archie. When I say Orta, you say fire.
Welcome back to the program Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. And the time now 4 minutes past the top of the hour, and let's move on to some other stories making the round this morning from across other parts of the world, and namely this around. Let's go straight to the African continent. Well, Cape Town clamps down on illegal electricity is one of the stories making the rounds, and UN envoy for Sudan resigns and warns the conflict show no sign of abating. To what end? Until all the people or the properties have been destroyed and have been displaced. That's what they want to do. The UN Special Envoy for Sudan, who had been working outside of the country after relations with the ruling military sword, has resigned. Volker Perthes made the announcement in the final speech to the UN Security Council in New York yesterday. His resignation comes after repeated calls by Sudan's ruling sovereign council that he be replaced in his post. I've had the privilege
the privilege to serve as the United Nations Secretary General Special Representative for Sudan for more than 2.5 years. I'm grateful to the Secretary General for the opportunity and for his confidence in me, but I have asked him to relieve me of this duty. This will therefore be my last briefing in this function. The former UN Special Envoy said the fighting showed no sign of abating, with neither side appearing close to a decisive military victory. So what is going to happen? Will they now go to the tables to go jaw instead of war where they are destroying people's life? This is Star Radio UK. Now in Uganda, please ban Bobby Wine's opposition rallies. Oh, Bobby Wine. I've not seen somebody who is in trouble in his lifetime like this man. And he likes his berets as somewhere likes his yellow one, orangey one, and he has a red beret. Now the Ugandan police have announced on Wednesday that they were suspending until further notice a nationwide mobilization campaign launched by the main opposition party led by Bobby Wine because of public order problems. The authorities had authorized this operation launched on the 2nd of September by the National Unity Platform, an unprecedented decision in a country ruled with an iron fist since 1986 by President Yoweri Museveni, and where the opposition is tightly controlled. Bobby Wine said that he intended to continue his campaign, which has given rise to rallies across the country, most recently Arua Northwest on Wednesday. On Wednesday, the Ugandan police said they had noticed that all the areas where the NUP mobilization activities have been carried out, there have been disturbances to public order, unnecessary traffic jams, loss of business, ill intention, damage to property. So what are the police doing? They are supposed to police the demonstration. So why are they not there to guide the people, to guide them to be en route in particular areas, but now coming out to say that, well, because of traffic and because of that, so we now want to stop everything? Don't forget what has happened in Gabon. That is what I would say there. In particular, it refers to the road accidents, including the fatal one in the western town of Hoima, and a rally in the center of the country that were used to incite violence, promote sectarianism, launch illegitimate calls for the removal of an elected government, and publish defamatory statements against the president of the republic. In the face of this flagrant violations, the mobilization activities of the NUP are immediately suspended, said the police, adding that they had notified the party leaders of their decision on Tuesday. In a statement, Bobby Wine, whose real name is Robert Kyagulanyi, said he had expected this decision from the authorities. Let Ugandans and with the world know that we are continuing our mobilization regardless of what Museveni using the police may do to put an end to our popularity. He added, Uganda holds its presidential election in 2026. Yoweri Museveni, 78, has not announced his intention for the election, but I know that his son wants to. His son, Mohuzi Kainerugaba, announced his intention to run in March in a tweet that he later deleted. Since then, he has launched his MK movement, whose members are keen to see him become the next president. The former singer, Bobby Wine, was President Museveni's main rival in the 2021 presidential election. The head of state was re-elected for a sixth term with 58% of the vote, according to the official results, ahead of Bobby Wine, 35%, who denounced a farce. Well, listen, look at the templates of what has happened in Uganda, and let's watch it very, very closely, what is happening. But well, iron fist. If you hold an iron fist or you rule with an iron fist, how many percentage of the citizens are actually benefiting from his rule? And who can say that their lives have been transformed for all this while that he's been in place or in position? Listeners, judge for yourself. Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. I remember at the time where Idi Amin was in power and everything that was going on, how the world was virtually bashing him, and he controlling with an iron fist, and how him tried to actually was he outside the country at the time, Museveni, and how everything has panned out now, and he also met in that same iron fist to them. Listeners, it is Star Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Well, in Madagascar, as well as I did say earlier on, opposition parties in Madagascar have denounced what they say is an institutional coup after the Prime Minister, an ally of President Andry Rajoelina, was put in charge of the nation in the run-up to presidential election. In a letter to electoral authorities received on Tuesday, 10 of 13 presidential candidates said court's ruling that handed the reins of the Indian Ocean island to Christian Nsai were dictated by Rajoelina and in his entourage to favor the president in the November election. The powers that be carried out a real institutional coup with the aim of putting the Prime Minister in charge of the state during the presidential electoral period in order to manipulate the results for the benefit of their candidate, the signatories, including 2 former presidents, wrote. Now, voters in Madagascar, one of the poorest countries on the globe, despite vast natural resources, head to the polls to elect a president on November 9. Rajoelina, 49, resigned on Saturday in line with the constitution in order to run for re-election. The president of the Senate was supposed to take over but declined to do so for personal reasons, leaving the task to a collegial government headed by Nsai. Now, the move was accepted by the country's top court, which over the weekend also dismissed appeals to the Rajoelina's candidacy, declared void for his dual French nationality, sparking the anger of the opposition. The renunciation made by the president of the Senate is not provided for anywhere in the constitution, the letter read. The head of the Constitutional Court dismissed accusation of bias. The president of the Senate renounced the office. We cannot force him to take the reins of power, Florent Raktas Riozoa said, adding that decision was lawful and aimed to ensure the continuity of the state. You know, interestingly, it's one of the richest when it comes to natural resources there on the continent. Yet they are so poor. Listeners, Star Radio UK. Did I say more? And let's move on to other African countries. Let's look at what is happening there as well, and this time around in Ghana as well. National Security Minister Albert Kandapa has refused to furnish a parliamentary committee probing leaked tape on the plot to remove IGP with details of investigation undertaken by his outfit. The Kandapa was invited by the committee to speak to the status of investigation undertaken by the National Investigation Bureau after the tape went viral. But at behind closed doors hearing on Wednesday, September 13, the National Security Minister said the report of the NIB is classified and thus cannot be made public. Addressing the media after proceedings, Chairman of the committee, Samuel Atecha, disclosed the full unedited original audio recording has been delivered by former Northern Regional Chairman of the NPP, Bogri Nabu. The Buakwa South MP further revealed when the committee resumes its in-camera hearing on October 3rd. Witnesses will be cross-examined as indicted senior officers are expected to prove their claims against the IGP. However, the Inspector General of Police, Dr. George Akufu Dampare, has refuted all claims made against him by 2 senior police officers at the center of a leaked tape on a plot to get him removed. Now, what was their point of reference, that committee? Because are they there to investigate whether the allegation that was being made by these individuals on the tape was true or false? Or were they there to hatch the plot or investigate the plot that they are hatching a plot to oust the IGP because he seemed to be playing ball or to be a defendant of democracy. What is it? Well, listeners, it is Starr Radio UK. And if I say I give up, some tell me don't do. But what do you think? It is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. The Commissioner of Police, George Alex Mensah, went from "Don't worry, we'll talk later" to making a political comment in jest on September 20 when he arrived in Parliament for an in-camera sitting of the League Tape Committee. Asked by the journalist if he was ready to deliver a showdown at the sitting, he responded, "I'm not Kennedy in Japan," with a burst of long, loud laughter. Now, at the day sitting, it turned out that the only National Security Minister made an appearance with the Inspector General of Police, Johnny Kufu Dampare, absent. When he emerged from the sitting, he assured that the truth will come out. Speaking to journalists outside Parliament on September 13, he has stressed that he was very happy with the process thus far. "I have told you that I don't want to speak on it. They've not even started yet receiving evidence. I told you I don't want to make any comment on this issue." He said, "I will insist on it that I'm not going to make any comment on this issue." He tried to rebuff journalists. But well, he hates the IGP with gusto, yet he wants to be kept in place. Well. Starr Radio UK. Is it because he's playing ball for them? Okay, now most Libyan floods deaths could have been avoided. That's what the UN is saying. With 20,000 feared dead in Derna, the UN says people should have been evacuated when the dams burst. But it didn't happen that way, and it's actually washed away. Most of the thousands of deaths in the Libyan floods could have been avoided. The UN World Meteorological Organization has said warning should have been issued leading to evacuation, and we could have avoided most of the human casualties. The mayor of the eastern city of Derna estimates between 18,000 and 20,000 people have died after two dams failed. Whole neighborhoods were swept away in the torrents. One person said to the BBC, the dam collapse sounded like an air strike. A sad one there. May their souls continue to rest in perfect peace. But it's all coming away from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now let me bring this one, because last time I was in the town center, just walking by, and I saw these young girls, and they are teenagers. I can categorize. That was just a day after they've reopened school, or just there. They will be about 13, 14 thereabout, and they were vaping. Now, how did they get their hands on the vape? Because it's not supposed to be sold to kids. Now, France is set to ban disposable e-cigarettes known locally as puffs. Now, because of the danger they pose to the environment and the public health. Now, speaking recently on RTL Radio, Prime Minister Elizabeth Borne said the measure was part of a new anti-smoking plan being drawn up by the government. It should be enforced by the end of the year. Campaigners said several other countries in Europe, including Germany, Belgium, and Ireland, have announced similar bans. The UK is also said to be considering one. Sold over the counter by tobacconists, disposable vapes in France cost around €9, less than a packet of 20 cigarettes. They are supposed to offer around 600 puffs, the rough equivalent of 40 cigarettes. But France National Academy for Medicine described them as a particularly sly trap for children and adolescents. According to Elizabeth Boone, they create a reflex, a gesture which children get used to and then end up being drawn to tobacco. So there are some of the stories there. What is going to happen next? Where would it be? Is the question on the lips of most people. Russia air defense system destroyed in Crimea in Ukraine's attack. Ukraine has destroyed a sophisticated Russian air defense system in occupied Crimea. Now, Kyiv Security Service, the SBU, and Navy carried out the attack on a Russian facility near Yevpatoria using cruise missiles and drone. Ukraine intelligence source said. Now, video footage on social media showed a fire and smoke near Yevpatoria in the west of the Russian-occupied peninsula. Moscow has yet to directly comment on the attack. Now, instead, the Russian Defense Ministry said it had shot down several Ukrainian area drones and thwarted a separate attack on a naval patrol vessel. Earlier on Thursday, a number of explosions were reported in the Crimean Peninsula, which Russia illegally occupied in 2014. According to the BBC intelligence source, the Ukrainian operation used drones to take out a radar array, then cruise missiles to hit air defense missiles launches. The drones focused on their the air defense system and their radars. After disabling the radar station, the Navy units hit 300 S-300 and S-400 Triumph system that is worth $1.2 billion by 2 Neptune cruise missiles, the source says. No details were provided on the number of batteries that had been hit. Listen, as it's all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. Some of the stories making the rounds in other parts of the world, but still pertaining to the war in Russia and its impact on other parts of the world. Well. A Russian pilot tried to shoot down an RAF surveillance plane after believing it had permission to fire, the BBC has learned. The pilot fired 2 missiles, the first of which missed rather than malfunction as claimed at the time. Now, Russia had claimed the incident last September was caused by a technical malfunction. The UK Ministry of Defense publicly accepted the Russian explanation, but now 3 senior Western defense sources with knowledge of the incident have said that Russian communication intercepted by the RAF RC-135 Rivet Joint aircraft give a very different account from the official version. The RAF plane, which with a crew of 20 up to 30, was flying a surveillance mission over the Black Sea in international airspace on the 29th of September last year when it encountered 2 Russian Su-27 fighter jets. The intercepted communication showed that one of the Russian pilots thought he had been given permission to target the British aircraft following an ambiguous command from a Russian ground station. However, the second Russian pilot did not. He remonstrated and swore at his wingman when he fired the first missile. The Rivet Joint is loaded with sensors to intercept communications. The RAF crew would have been able to listen to the incident, which could have resulted in their own death. The MOD will not release details of those communications, though. Responding to these new revelation, an MOD spokesperson said, "Our intent has always been to protect the safety of our operation, avoid unnecessary escalation, and inform the public and international community." This war, when will it all end? Okay, Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, Keir Starmer's plan to stop the boats has been laid bare. Now, Keir Starmer is seeking a deal with Europol for a future Labour government to try to stop gangs bringing people across the channel in small boats. The Labour leader, who is in The Hague for talks with the EU agency, said smashing the gangs should be treated on par with terrorism. Any migrant returns deal may require the UK accepting migrants from the EU. The government claims a returns policy could lead to the UK taking 100,000 illegal migrants every year. Now, Home Secretary Zuela Breverman wrote on X, formerly known as Twitter, that Keir will agree to make Britain the dumping ground for many of the millions of illegal migrants that Europe doesn't want. Now, Keir said it was embarrassing. The government is pumping out this nonsense, and his discussion were focused on sharing information on people smuggling gangs to stop boats getting into the water in the first place. The government has lost control of our borders, and we can see that with the number of crossings over the channel in small boats, Sekier said. The only way to stop that is to smash the gangs that are running this vile trade. How are they doing that? That is the question, the big question on the lips of most people. But a sad story happened pertaining to a Colombian migrant who begged to be sent home but died in UK detention. The family of a Colombian man who is believed to have killed himself at a Heathrow Immigration Removal Center says he begged for help and was willing to leave the UK. Frank Ospina died within a month of being detained while he was waiting to be deported. His family says he had no existing mental health problems. Information coming through said investigated by the BBC, conditions inside the immigration center at the time when the government is taking a harder line on migrants. Documents shared with us show mounting strains on detainees. We have also uncovered new details about an incident in which a group of detainees tried to kill themselves in the days following Mr. Ospina's death. It comes ahead of the publication of a report due next week into abusive behavior by staff at the Brook House facility, a center near Gatwick. Public inquiry was launched following a landmark undercover BBC Panorama investigation in 2017. Listeners, this is where I bring the program to a close for today. It's been a pleasure coming your way. I'll be back tomorrow, God willing. Labour post loss due to expansion and rising costs. Well, one of the flag bearers or profit-making ventures have posted a loss for the first time, and they say that it is due to they spreading their tentacles to occupy lots of other areas. So we see some leaders in where we are, a few of them, new facilities have been built. You go in there, it's quite a nice place to be. But well, is that panning out well for them? It's at the moment they've hit a loss, but who knows? Next year or the year after, they're going to be making loads of profits there. Listeners, this is where I bring the program to a close. As I did say, it's been me, your one and only Archie, saying, have a top of the day, and until I come your way tomorrow, is bye-bye for now. Stay blessed. And may Nigeria not happen to you, as we say on this platform. But, well, enjoy this tune from Wuta, and it says, Ayalolo, rise up, rise up. When that song ends, you don't hear from me, I say, ciao.
Your feet and move forward to the feet. Before tonight, the pain will heal, and I know you'll be free. Rise up your feet and move forward to the feet. Before tonight.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening.
Wipe those tears away. Today you're weak, tomorrow you'll be strong. There comes a day when you smile again, when your worry and trouble will be gone. So as you rise up your feet and move forward to the feet.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening.
All around the world.
You rise up your feet and move forward to the beat. Before tonight, the pain will heal, believe you'll be free. Hey. Dry those tears away, yeah. Today you're weak, tomorrow you'll be strong. Hey. There comes a day